Another day, another story. Its effects haunt the Turkish economy. Learn about the size of the material losses left by the Kahramanmaraş earthquake. Istanbul, the devastating effects of the earthquake that struck southern Turkey and northern Syria at dawn last Monday, which the Turkish authorities classified as one of the worst natural disasters in the country in a century, are still being felt. Gradually unfolding, with the increase in the number of victims, the material losses incurred by construction and infrastructure increased. The Turkish authorities announced the collapse of more than 7,000 buildings in the 10 states affected by the earthquake, which had a magnitude of 7.8 on the Richter scale, and the aftershocks that followed it, some of which were more than 6 degrees in intensity, which deepened the damage and led to the collapse of more buildings, so that the government declared the affected states stricken areas. The infrastructure of the region was severely affected by the devastating earthquake, as many of the highways linking the stricken states were cracked, which impeded traffic, and the airports operating in the region were severely damaged, which put 4 of them, out of 7, out of service, the most important of which is Antalya International Airport, which is one of the main export windows for Turkey, according to experts. As for oil and natural gas pipelines, they were damaged by the earthquake, while bad weather conditions and damage to roads compounded the problem of fuel supplies in the affected areas. Turkish Energy Minister Fatih Dönmez announced there was significant damage to electricity and natural gas transmission lines in the earthquake area. Later, the authorities announced the stopping of oil flows from the Kirkuk-Ceyhan crude oil pipeline linking Iraq and Turkey, as a result of the damage to the line, before announcing the return of the line to work, and the Turkish Petroleum Pipelines Company announced stopping the flow of natural gas to the states affected by the earthquake. As a precaution. For its part, the region's ports were greatly affected by the earthquake, as the port of Iskenderun in Hatay state was taken out of service, after a series of fires broke out, and the concerned authorities worked to extinguish them. In terms of commodity and merchandise markets, the Turkish Ministry of Trade announced the launch of extensive inspections throughout the country after allegations of exorbitant increases in the prices of basic supplies, and this came after tweeters circulated news that some merchants had raised the prices of blankets, which witnessed heavy demand as a result of tens of thousands of people sleeping in the open. %150. For its part, the stock markets were not in a better condition, as the Istanbul Stock Exchange Index fell 16% within 3 days of the earthquake, and it fell at the opening of the trading session yesterday, Wednesday alone, by 5%, which prompted the Istanbul Stock Exchange to take a decision to stop all transactions completely on Wednesday, after it partially suspended trading earlier. Play video. The duration of the video is 2 minutes 58 seconds. 2:58. Production centers affected. Observers and experts expected that the earthquake would have negative repercussions on the Turkish economy, which is already going through unfavorable conditions, and the areas affected by the earthquakes are among the most important production centers in Turkey, according to what was stated by the Turkish Minister of Industry and Technology, Mustafa Varenk. According to the Turkish journalist specializing in economics, Nagi Becker, the 10 Turkish states affected by the earthquakes include 151 companies among the 500 largest industrial companies in Turkey. The share of the affected regions in the gross domestic product is about 9.3%, which is equivalent to $76 billion, according to the figures of the official Turkish Statistics Institute. These figures also show that these regions contribute 14% to the agricultural output, 11.2% to the industrial output, and 1% of the tourism sector, and 8.5% of the total Turkish exports. A professor of economics and business administration residing in Istanbul, Mukuls Al-Nazir, said that the cost of rescue and relief operations and repairing the destroyed infrastructure will put pressure on the Turkish public budget, as it is an unexpected increase in spending, and all of this increases the budget deficit that entered the new year and is already suffering from standard deficit. Al-Nazir warned, in an interview with Al Jazeera Net, that this will lead to a decline in the value of the Turkish lira in the medium term, and it had already witnessed a relatively limited decline after the earthquake, as it lost 1.5% of its value against the US dollar. In terms of the Istanbul Stock Exchange, The Economist pointed out that it witnessed mixed movements, as the shares of some companies fell and others rose, especially cement companies, which rose 21% in 24 hours, but this did not prevent the general index of the stock exchange tending to decline sharply. For his part, the Turkish political writer Yusuf Kateb Oglu, who is also a businessman, revealed to Al Jazeera Net a list of negative economic effects that the Turkish economy is expected to witness during the coming period as a result of the devastating earthquake. Kadioglu said that the wide area hit by the earthquake is densely populated, has agricultural land, and includes many industrial areas. Play video. The duration of the video is 02 minutes 16 seconds. 2:16. Affected economic sectors. According to the Turkish businessmen, the economic sectors that will be negatively affected by the devastating earthquake are summarized as follows. Air traffic and air cargo. In light of the damage to 4 airports out of 7, the most important of which is Antakya Airport, which has become out of service due to cracked runways, and the same applies to Adıyaman Airport. Maritime transport. The port of Iskenderun was closed for 3 consecutive days due to the outbreak of fires, which paralyzed the movement of maritime transport and the accumulation of containers inside. The insurance companies sector, as there are an estimated 7,000 to 8,000 buildings that were destroyed, most of which are insured, and it is expected that the insurance companies will incur compensation amounting to $1 billion as an initial bill. The industrial sector has been greatly affected, especially in Gaziantep and Kahramanmaraş, where factories with high production capacity have been damaged and are out of service, and preliminary figures show that more than 1,500 medium and small establishments have been damaged. Damage to infrastructure, whether roads, bridges, or natural gas, electricity, and water transmission networks over a wide area equivalent to the size of England or Belgium. Nor can the enormous human bill be missed by logic. Thanks for watching.